Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. DC's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Summit 7 American Region Qualifiers. Infamous going up against the 1-0 in favor to withstand the early aggression from Digital Chaos and ended up, well, winning the game off of some really nicely farmed heroes. We'll see if DC are able to put something together. I kind of want to see a little bit more out of these guys, but for right now, see what's going to go down with this draft because it's slow as hell. Either way, I'm Mike Loris. It's going to be joined by MRP Dota for the second game. Infamous are taking their sweet ass time, dude.
Aw, come on.
DC's
Legion Commander.
Radiant team pick.
Behold the horn of Shaul Warlord.
DC's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Crystal Maiden.
Radiant
I like the
team
start for
ban.
DC if they're going to bring this back, push it to a game
DC's
3. I
turn
mean, Crystal
to
Maiden
bat.
first is whatever, versatile. She really does it all. Doob is definitely comfortable on this hero, but big difference here for what I imagine to be 4Ev's hero. He played Nature's Prophet, now going to play probably the Legion
10
Commander.
seconds remaining.
And the difference there is that Legion Commander can be really, really assertive, both in
5
lane and in the
seconds
mid game, looking
remaining.
for those ganks. Whereas Nature's Prophet kind of has to piggyback on his allies in order to do that. Like, you can make some
Reserve time.
some teleportation plays, get couriers, snipes, but again, you're not really going to do it out of the blue by yourself. You really need your teammates to set that up. So this lets Forev kind of be his own man, at least a little bit more. Yes, you may end up losing the duels up against Troll Warlord and Magnus. That's a lot of damage, but you know what? It'll allow Forev to play a lot more actively. Because in the last game, Nature's Prophet fed on quite a
10
bit and
seconds remaining.
wasn't really able to do all that much split pushing because of the fact that he was
5
just,
seconds
crushed in the draft. Not really easy to do the same versus a Legion Commander.
Reserve time. DC's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team pick.
All pretty much Abed's bread and butter right there. I mean, you did pretty well in the Death Prophet, you said, in the early stages. Ended up just thrashing Gucci in
10
lane.
seconds
And to that
remaining.
end, I kind of want to see Gucci, or I guess Benyas, get Gucci a hero
5
that is
seconds
kind of
remaining.
foolproof. Like, pick up a Lina type hero or a Puck or one of these heroes that has
Reserve
mediocre at worst lanes pretty much across the board. Picking up an Ember Spirit is, I mean, it's obviously banned out in this game, but Ember Spirit is just a hero that tends to have some pretty sour matchups, and we saw exactly what happened in that situation in the last game. If Gucci was able to get a little bit of a better start in this one, then Infamous can definitely snowball out of control. Silencer, the
DC's
pick.
turn to pick.
I mean, you're looking at mid lane matchups. This is again a hero that is going to run some pretty bad mid lane matchups, but can just as easily be played as a support. Together with Magnus, has some pretty sick team fight for
Monkey
Infamous.
King.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Ogre Magi!
DC's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining.
Lena.
Radiant team ban.
This is
10
like
seconds remaining.
pure Horde versus Alliance right now, right?
5 seconds
Eh?
remaining.
Oh, a couple. Okay, fine. Well, Ogre Magi, either way, the pickup for the Infamous side. I don't know. I don't read Monkey King's lore. Who cares about this guy? But Ogre Magi, either way, the pick, and no, just as a hero in a vacuum, something that they will just take to the roam and try to play as kind of a soft counter to the enemy. Monkey King, Infamous don't have a Bat Rider or a similar vision hero to deal with that Monkey King. They do have a Magnus for the tree clearing, which is something, but expect the Monkey King to have a little bit of a better time in this game. But the big deal with this Ogre Magi is the fact that Bloodlust plus Empower plus Troll Warlord is disgusting. So they will be riding this Troll Warlord train pretty hard and even going in for a Bounty Hunter. So yeah, it is first 3 cores in the first 3 phases. Silencer versus Lina is a little bit of an interesting matchup for the Silencer. He at least has a little bit more game than Ember Spirit versus a Death Prophet, but not really by much.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
And also when you're trying to orb harass someone, your movement is usually really easy to read. Like when you're throwing out that glaive, you're not moving. So that means the LSA and the counterplay from a CM or Monkey King just becomes that much easier. So in the vacuum, that matchup's still a little bit tough for that silencer, but you gotta look towards those heroes that rotate. CM and Monkey King, definitely a deadly duo. Ogre Magi and Bounty Hunter, not a very frequent duo, but definitely a potent one as well if they find their opportunities. This last pick Spectre from the DC side is going to pretty much lock up the late game. Even though you are going to be going up against a Troll Warlord who's going to be mega farmed, you don't expect anyone else to really be quite as farmed as the Troll Warlord, so you can deal with everyone else and then kind of leave the Troll for last. That being said, this Spectre is going to be taking a little bit of time to get going, and Infamous, even though they do have that late game play with the steroided up Troll Warlord, with the poor Silencer, with the Bounty Hunter in play, are looking to snowball and take a fast win.
Yeah, definitely not looking to take this. They also have Legion Commander, you know, infinite scaling, OS Rog. So, okay, Kanishka, top lane, being stalked here by Baboka. He does have the Orb of Venom, but I don't want to jump too deeply. Catches a glimpse of Mason as well. Shadow walk to fire soon, so. Didn't place any wards, though, up here for the side. We'll see how Sword gets off. Had a really good Batrider game. How he gets off.
Not that much of a difficult lane. Yeah, again, Monkey King will poke, as will CM once she gets a couple of levels, but Spectre versus Mag in a vacuum, and we saw Anti-Mage versus Magnus earlier. Magnus just got his ass kicked. Spectre doesn't have nearly as much game versus the Magnus, just because Magnus will always be able to skewer away. You'll always have mana unless he makes some sort of big error. But yeah, that lane should be a lane where Magnus is able to do just fine. We have ourselves Forev going up against the lane where you would expect Legion Commander to be kind of okay as well, but it's over towards mid lane where the action's going to start off really early. Abed is going to take a couple of shots here from the Silencer, cursed up as well. A couple of misses actually from Gucci, but still, this is going to be the game plan as far as dealing with the Lina. Sit the Bounty Hunter on her and really never let go, and if Boca can also mess with the CM, that could be huge. Although I don't really think I've seen anyone successfully mess with the CM yet.
Yeah, and as Baboka rotates away after taking a couple tower hits, Abed confident to sneak in the courier there for himself. He should be okay in lane. Baboka will be a bit of a new. It remains to be seen whether they can find trades elsewhere with Bulba. And he's trading right now with Sword top lane of the Jingu Mastery. Forced to use a couple of tangos already. With the poor man's shield on the Magnus, he's fairly tanky up against trades.
Sentry now dropped to clear out mid. Abed, does he have any more sentries on his allies, on anyone? No, it doesn't seem like it's the case, so he ensure that the Bounty Hunter can do whatever he wants versus this Lina. Hasn't really done a whole lot just yet, but lane is still very young. CM walking around in the jungle untouched currently. They're trying to put the screws to Forev as much as possible. Forev going for a really defensive build, just regeneration focused. Still gonna take a Fire Blast, still gonna take some chip damage, but as far as killing off this Legion Commander, I'm not really sure if that's gonna be in the cards for right now. So yeah, even with this Ogre Magi and the Bounty Hunter, not really sure if any aggression is gonna be coming up in the near future.
Yeah, I mean the early point and press the attack certainly makes sense. We're back. Oh, cliffed up his Bulba.
Oh, he's level 2.
But yeah, not the easiest hero to cliff, and actually with the Jingu Mastery charges doing a lot of damage to Swords. Shrine is there though. Forced to retreat.
Regeneration.
Overall, pretty stagnant early game. Abed forced his last hit under the tower a little bit early, so he's suffering a bit in the CS department, but just fine to recover a couple levels and kind of manipulate.
Oh, you say that. Gonna get hit with that Orb of Venom, and Gucci is kind of second guessing whether or not he wants to go for that Lina, probably exactly for that reason. Took a Dragon Slave to the face and a couple more right clicks from Abed. Definitely would have been a kill on the Silencer, so he's got to play a little bit cautiously till he has a little bit more juice. Salve will even get cancelled. Dragon Slave cast range is fair and balanced. Abed is still in a little bit of trouble here, but he's putting the screws to Gucci at range. This is why Lina is like one of, if not the best mid laners in the game right now, because she can do stuff like this. Even against two heroes, just throwing out the dragons, just destroying the Silencer's health pool, and Baboka Juniors as well.
And he's been really good not to tip off the bounty hunter to the fact that there's a sentry here. He hasn't attacked him once at all when he's sitting there invisible. He's been throwing the dragon slaves directly at the silencer so that he doesn't get his sentry dewarded, so that he can at least anticipate the in from, well, trade salves, trade shrines, excuse me. Here's back to work. Looks like the one glaring difference, I guess, of this early game is Forev has been effectively zoned out. He goes for that early point in the press attack because it's difficult to trade against an ogre anyways, so you want to purge the slow from ignite and axes. Feels like Sword has gotten a good amount done in this early. However, that greed has kind of been mitigated with Dubu farming in the jungle. He's level 3 where the Magnus is, as is Bulba, and now finally the response in mid lane. They could just use a Boundless Strike from range here on Gucci. Abed walking forward, gets cursed up. Now the Boundless Strike comes in from range, very small stun. They'll jump forward with the Primal Spring, will not connect. Oh, it does actually connect on the edge, but the Dragon Slave just barely whiffing. Now Dubu under the tower will be the first to drop. He's level 3. LSA connects though, and Dragon Slave available. He will kill off and find the return kill on the Bounty Hunter. Curse goes out. Abed though, be okay to survive here. Has a tangle as well.
Magnus will wander in and win the D-Ward battle over in mid lane because Bulba wasn't exactly sure what the Magnus was planning. You never know when there's an Ogre Magi around the corner as well, so that's gonna keep bo3 Jr. wandering around the mid lane with the advantage. No detection right now on the Dire side. Dubu will grab an Invis rune, so he'll be able to poke in towards that mid lane, but even though it is going to be first blood drawn in favor of the infamous side, it is still this mid lane scenario where Lina is dumping her entire mana pool into just harassment. Every single Dragon Slave, it seems, hits onto the silencer but doesn't hit onto an injured creep, so she's not getting any CS. 9-3 versus the 24 for 13, and that failed gank just made it even worse. Silencer getting the first stolen intelligence stack there. This Lina definitely needs some help, or needs to recalibrate her positioning so that she's actually CSing with the Dragon Slave as well as harassing Gucci.
I mean, still, they're committing a lot. Dubu now, Crystal Nova, and the Frostbite in the mid lane. LSA, or Dragon Slave at least to follow Boundless Strike. Is there LSA going to be thrown? Wisp, but just another right click going to connect. Bulba will be the return kill here, but worth it for Abed. Ignite, Crystal Nova, and LSA will be there to sound the retreat. Dubu makes it up the hill. One right click though from the Shadow Walk, gets the Orb of Venom slow. He's still though able to make it back underneath the safety of the tower. Abed pressing forward, a couple of seconds till the Dragon Slave, not there in time. Either way, what I was going to say is that they're committing a lot to Abed in this early game to shutting him down. And if you look at the levels, because Bounty Hunter has been in lane so often, I mean, he's right neck and neck with Gucci, so he's not necessarily very far behind. And Mason is sitting on a Spectre, a hero that usually needs to be babysat, but all the meanwhile, because of all this rotation around, he's been able to free farm the lane all by himself. He's only one wave of CS behind Ben. Likely had Ogre doing a pull for him at some point, so I'm guessing some of those are jungle CS, whereas Mason 7 CS a minute roughly at this point and has a big wave power, so not all is lost for DC. I think they're okay with how this early
Tower is under attack.
Maybe you just need to get Abed a little bit of extra cash, but Forev having a pretty good time experience wise, and Spectre of course having absolute free farm to match the Troll Warlord, but it is going to be the lack of successful rotations Crystal Maiden and the Monkey King that is semi-concerning. Maybe not applying quite as much pressure onto Sword as they would really like. Speaking of, it's going to be another one. Smoke up towards mid, level 4 on both of these heroes. Uchi is not presenting himself right now, and even if he is to do so, YYF is in the area. He was spotted as the Ogre is going to wander this Observer Ward range. They know exactly what they're dealing with. Radiant know that something's up, but they're going to scan the wrong direction. Haunt now coming in with Mason and the supports. Silencer is going to get completely swarmed with heroes right now, and they will very quickly lose their mid lane. Even Forev going to show up in this engagement. Abed going to be chasing after YYF, will completely whiff the LSA. Now YYF has a chance to juke. I thought he was going to go for Roshan, but apparently he thinks he could survive. Not really sure if that's... Okay, that is not a juke that you can actually do up against 4 heroes, but will be a 2 for nothing in favor of DC. That is exactly how you want to use your first Haunt.
Yeah, double kill for Abed as well, so that gets him right back where he needs to be. He's now 3rd overall and net worth 300 above the silencer. So you're looking at yourself and you're saying, we just spent the entire early game shutting that Lena down. She's now level 6. She's pretty much at par, if not surpassing the silencer at this point, and all is well in the chaos. Still, you have this Benjaz troll who's farming a lot. They actually killed off Forev before that fight, which is why he was able to TP in towards mid from base with a battle trance. But you know, that is an issue unaddressed so far, but DC recovered at least on.
The reason why Forev's having a much better time, even though he did go down, his build is kind of just like a late game build for this Troll Warlord, prioritizing Berserker's Rage a lot, not getting a lot in the Whirling Axes. So as far as nuking down this Legion Commander, not really what the Troll Warlord is looking to do right now. Just looking to get his passives up and eventually get that Bloodlust up. I guess another passive there, another passive from the Empower, and then look to power farm. Like, we always got to remember that is something that Infamous are going to do extremely well in this game. Just get a super steroided up Troll Warlord and then just send him into the DC lineup by himself. And having early game aggression that's successful is kind of just a side effect, kind of just a bonus for the Infamous side. And so far
on the map, he was drawing towards Benjaz here, and he is low, and they do have the duel available. They need to find this troll and find him quickly. Primal Spring fully channeled, goes out, but there is the miss there, and they now have Dubu rotating in with the Crystal Nova. Can they get in range? Not quickly enough with the phase boots there. Benjaz will be able to make it out. In the meantime, Mason still in lane top. They have an RP. They're looking at him, but back off in the nick of time.
Ogre Magi rotating in versus a Spectre. An issue at level 1, but when Ogre Magi is level 4 with not really that much in the way of his aggressive power, 1 Ignite, 1 Fire Blast, Spectre doesn't really have much to fear from the 2 of those heroes, unless she's going to get skewered into an enemy tower, and then of course it's not going to happen at that range. Patience from Infamous, this Bounty Hunter, is level 5 at least, is going to wander into no man's land, but luckily for him, there's no detection. He will get out of there, and he'll be just fine. Though he's playing a very, very dangerous game, this Bounty Hunter. Once he gets level 6, then Infamous, their draft is going to start to take off. By that time, hopefully for the mag, he'll have his blink, but he's pretty far away from it.
Benja's going to opt for the Vlads again early on, and this is an item that certainly allows you to kind of perpetually stay on the map, gives you a little bit of mana regen, allows you to farm reliably. So I bought late for trouble here. Press the attack, but it looks like it'll just delay the inevitable. Drop here is going to go for the juke plays, gets the cut into the tree. Boundless Strike is there onto 2. Forev, though, the pathing going to screw him over there, and he gets brought down by the Fire Blast. Benjaz with the range attack. What I was just going to say is it made more sense to me, the Vlad's last game, because there was a Death Prophet and a Bristleback, 2 heroes that are innately kind of tanky. So you have to stay in these prolonged fights. In this match, I feel that maybe you go for a little bit more damage-oriented build off the bat. Top lane, skewer away from sword, keeps him safe, and Dubu, he's going to drop to the last word as Gucci finds himself -2. +2 frame of reference either way in bottom lane. Benjaz brings down the tower in the meantime. Dubu will look to go on him. They'll haunt up as well. They don't have... Oh, they do have the dagger. Now they'll press the attack onto the Spectre, looking for the duel. They'll get it off, but the melee whirling axes are there, and they won't get the duel victory. He'll even toy on the battle trance and get the kill on Forev. He will end up going down, and that's a streak to Bulba, but still gets himself the return kill. Nothing really else he could have done in that scenario.
Vlad's first. Pretty good when you're just getting beaten down by right clicks, get that armor component, able to turn around for a little bit of extra life steal, which is not irrelevant in these very corner case scenarios. So Vlad's right now definitely an item that he is happy to have in his inventory, able to get him that kill before he goes down. The Bounty Hunter now hitting that level 6 mark.
Melee axis. Anyways, either way, yeah, it certainly helps him out there. The early game value. Bulba under the cover in Invis room, but I didn't find anything just yet. Couple of wards expended here bottom lane to try and bring the tower down. But Ben has, I mean, he can kind of farm anywhere on the map at this point, though. Not sure that this tower means all that much aside from some gold. And in the meantime, Infamous, they'll take the tier 1 away from DD out of a casino.
The jump onto the silencer. He'll get a curse out, but with the Wukong's command circle of doom down with Abed there, with the Laguna Blade if necessary. Not a hard kill for DC. They'll take him down and maybe look for this tower, although Benyas is going to arrive, put a quick end to that. This Core Silencer at least has this Hand of Midas now, so he will have that going for him. But your Core Silencer, if you're kind of getting picked off 24/7, turns into a support silencer, and then you're even more so on this Troll Warlord plan. So the DC are handling this silencer rather pretty well, but so far you need to deal with Benyas a little bit better because he's gonna have some insane power levels soon enough. Okay, you don't want to be there, Bull, but trust me. Roshan deny? No, best he could have hoped for there. It's a Roshan that's pretty clean for Infamous, and they get a bonus Monkey King kill. DC, they do not have a haunt for another 10. And I'm not really sure if it's going to take Benyas 10 seconds here.
With the Empower and the Bloodlust, the Troll is just a force to be reckoned with. And maybe even more of an argument for kind of the early game value build is that you do have those 2 steroid type spells behind you from the Benj has very difficult to bring down initially, as we saw bottom lane, and now gonna have that extra life. We're gonna look at this mid lane tier 1. Abed not nearby at the moment, really does want to finish off his Bloodstone, and he is only about 500 gold away from that. So it looks like they may just try and wave clear and sack this tower. They do have the haunt if they want to bring in Mason, but since Abed's not nearby, looks like they're posturing up for a fight just yet. Glyph is going to be popped. They are going to see Forev with the creep make his way into the trees there. So they know there are multiple heroes from DC side here. It's just a question of how many.
Is still on bottom, still shoving it out. Sword's going to go deal with him. Means that if shit is going to hit the fan over in the mid lane, Infamous will be out their most relevant damage dealing tool, or control tool rather, in that RP. Wow, that damage on the Troll Warlord just by random spam. They bring him super low, and they're unable to catch up to Mason as well. Infamous, they make a pretty aggressive play with this Troll Warlord and Aegis. Doesn't really cost them a lot, except for a lot of time. They're still doing pretty well in the net worth department. I think soon enough we're going to see the impacts of Empower on Benyas. You can already see him like clearing an entire creep wave in just like 3 hits. It is pretty silly at what the Troll Warlord can do. He's going to get this far ahead, but DC so far have yet to take like a real big fight. We've seen 1 duel. We've seen, I think, 0 Laguna Blades. And only 1 haunt, or 2 haunts. So DC definitely trying to avoid fights as best they can, but at a certain point, it's going to tip over, and I think that point is right now where Forev is going to be spotted by everyone and their mom. Jump forward, skewer back into a Fire Blast. Look at Benyas go. That's Wilming Odds hit pretty hard, but not nearly hard enough. That's going to be a free kill. Maybe even looking to position themselves for a couple more, because bottom lane, Abed, being stalked by bo3 Jr., knows about it. He's going to turn out with the Laguna Blade, has a Dragon Slave. RP is going to be used to buy a little bit of time, but not quite enough. Now Bulba's going to jump in with the Wukong's command. That'll quickly do in the Magnus. Here comes the Silencer, drops a couple nukes onto Abed. That'll do quite a bit of damage, but I think he should be fine here. And he will. Raindrop, pretty good. Infamous, they whiff their RP, they kind of waste their Bounty Hunter. So far, no track kills.
I mean, a little unfortunate with the RP, as Bulba, he lands just after the stun hits, so he wasn't part of that RP and gets the Boundless Strike off. Else, they probably killed Alina. Either way, it was a bit of a curious use. Ends up not panning out for Infamous there. This game, a lot more even, perhaps, than game 1. DC good after a rough start, and they do have Relic Gold on Mason here. Get a lot stronger very soon as he finds enough to pick up this
chance up against the Silencer and Troll, both at a super premium. And looking at these other kind of side supporty heroes for Infamous, Silencer included in that, both all really easy to bring down. Like the Ogre Magi, his tankiness is still kind of there, but for the most part, not really his forte when a Spectre with a Radiance haunts in on him. Bounty Hunter, Silencer, all, including the Magnus. Lag? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like everyone's lagging. It just feels like with a Bounty Hunter and a single core lineup, essentially, maybe call it a 1.5 core since you have a Magnus with your roll. It just feels like at 20 minutes in, you want a bigger lead than they've been. So I think, DC have stymied the bleeding from the early game, and they find the one hero who's really lacking his essentials is Forev's Legion. He's a little bit lower. I mean, even Bulba surpassing him in the work. But he's 250 gold away from a Blink Dagger, so that's a big pickup if you can find it. Meanwhile, Han options out mid lane, and they will be able to catch out Gucci. They get him to pop the global as well. He will find the return kill, though. Immediately up to the high ground is Mason. He looks for the TP out. LSA will catch Benhaz, and they won't be able to kill him off, though. There's an Aegis in his hand, so Abed looking to back up, but skewered right into his paws. And Benhaz will finish off the Lina. Mason making it out of the fight, but they get a silencer and a global for their Lina and Monkey King. Did also grab the Aegis, but it doesn't feel like that's going to deter Infamous from pressing forward for this tier 2. Jump in from Sword, gets the shockwave off onto the tracked Lina to be a little bit of extra gold in the way of the Radiant squad, and now they're to potentially pressure in this tier 2 mid. Benjaz, though, even though having the Aegis, not very healthy. Now jump forward for the duel. Forev's going to get skewered away. They're at least not going to get the damage. And now a jump forward. RP is going to hit on a few. Empower popped up onto Benhaz with the Battle Hunger. They'll get Abed, or at least force out the Bloodstone Suicide. That'll heal up Forev, so they won't continue forward. But that feels bad, man, right after purchasing the Bloodstone there, Abed.
What an absolute mess of an engagement. Off to the south, it was the Bounty Hunter and the Silencer, I believe, both trying to chase down for a couple of kills, but that duel immediately responded to with that skewer from the Magnus and then the RP. It's just backbreaking, and for Benyaz, I think he was down one of the steroids, maybe not Bloodlust, or maybe just like tail end of the Empowered. He will do enough damage to kill off the Lina and the Legion in the future, make no mistake. So that fight from DC, really a little bit too spread out for their liking. Like, you really do want to get that one off with the Lina, and then try to just like make that numerical advantage into a victory thanks to that haunt. But it's with that spread out nature of the fight, with Abed kind of getting pinned down in the really early stages, you aren't able to make that happen. And for Infamous, their troll end up using the Aegis, but was able to run around pretty much the entire time freely. They will get a duel off onto the Ogre. Will it be a win? Not even a win. Forev still at 0.
Yeah, at least they get a kill. Definitely feels like something. It's an expendable loss for Infinite. Farming elsewhere. Benjaz is looking, a couple hundred gold away. How do you kill him off at that point? So a couple heroes tracked up top lane, Boundless Strike, and the Dragon Slave going to connect onto Baboka. They're going to spare no expense for that bounty hunt. There's the real Baboka there, and they should be able to transition this into a tower as well. Sword able to blink out from under Bulba's vision, and he's actually setting up here. 4 seconds though until his Blink Dagger cools down because he had to use it. Radiance is up though on Mason. And at least maybe if they pop that off early, cancel the blink of the Magnus. Next engage, but Benjaz does have that BKB. So not going to be affected by the burn for that duration.
This is definitely a rough game to be a bounty hunter. He is getting a little bit of gold towards his mechanism, but so far I've only had a handful of track kills. It just seems like he's never been where the kills have been happening. Like, every single kill that happens, Boca Jr. is a little bit too far off, or it got picked off beforehand or something along those lines. So Bounty Hunter kind of working with the budget. We do have a pretty big item pickup on the Silencer and the Rod of Atos. Just being able to get a little bit of extra bulk up for him, and I'm sure he's going to keep prioritizing survivability over all else for Staff next build. Silencer's starting to get to a relevant damage stage, but still, with this Lina now picking up the plus 50 damage talent, it doesn't seem like Silencer really has much competition in that department. Oh, the scan from the Radiant is going to reveal a Spectre. Is she on the high ground? I'm not really sure where she is. She is on the high ground, actually. And with the Haunt, she's going to try to get away, but actually everyone's here, so there is no haunting out of this one. That kind of sucks to be Mason there, but either way, it is going to be a kill for Infamous, but it is going to require them to use RP and Global Silence. They thought backup was coming, but it wasn't.
Yeah, they spare no expense. I mean, it's the highest worth target on the map. Probably worth both of those ultimates, but unfortunately they don't get anything more than just the Mason kill there, and they do end up, as a result, losing their tier 1 Mid lane still, though, looking for the Blink Skewer, perhaps, is Sora. They get the Rod of Atos off. Shadow Blade is there. Do they have any detection for Abed? It looks like the answer is no at this moment. Press the attack. Purge off that last word, but now Benjaz, he's going to join the fray. Pops up his BKB. Forev in a lot of trouble here. Gets the positive Solar Crest Shine buff, but it won't be enough to keep Benjaz from killing him off, and Abed's going to be dropped as well on the east side, as again, that Rod of Atos proving, you know, very effective here for Infamous, as maybe without the RP to be used, they lack a little bit of disable, but that root lock down the Lina, and they get 2 big core kills after bringing down Mason bot lane.
A lot of talk about this item once it was first changed to work like this, the projectile that just nets you down. It is maybe because not many heroes just want to get it, because it's just not in their build. There are better items, like Lina just has so many better items to get, but it is still a very effective item. If you're able to land it at all, you're able to set up so much. Like that, the setup didn't work, but using the Rod of Atos into the Skewer, what the hell are you supposed to do about that if you're DC? Just have a Yule Scepter, have a BKB to kind of avoid that, but at that point you're just using a BKB to dodge a freaking Rod of Atos. That's not worth it. So this is going to open up so many more opportunities for the Infamous side, and we're going to see this Troll Warlord really start to take off. He had a Shadow Blade in his quick buy. Looks like he's still going to be going for that item, but with that BK with yes and Y, if he's on top of you, you're not really going to escape. bo3 Jr. hit with the dust will return a track towards Bulba, but should be fine. He has the mechanism now complete on the Bounty Hunter.
Well, he'll have the Greaves soon if he purge and dust, or could allow him to survive, get some more tracks off, continue to beef up Benjaz. Still I worry a little bit that Infamous, as far as how they want to be, and dropped here in a timely manner, and up to the high ground goes Doobly. He's able to pop the smoke, at least on the Bounty Hunter, but this could be a bait, and they get the duel off, and Ben has immediately, and saves the BKB for that one. Now to the high ground goes Bulba. Do they have a Skewer ready here? He's tracked up. Not sure if he's aware that he's tracked, that he's going to be skewered back into the hands of Benjaz again. And Bulba, double kill for the Troll Warlord. Meanwhile, they found Dubu as well. So 3 free and clear kills. Abed immediately to the mid lane alongside Mason to try and shove it in to make sure that there are no objectives taken off the back of those kills. But spawning, so Benjaz has to make quick work.
Jeez. That is disgusting. Troll Warlord is definitely a hero with some anger issues there, and that smoke play from Infamous, just coincidentally, popped the smoke just before any vision came up on the DC side, so they thought they were okay. They saw a Bounty Hunter wander around, and a Bounty Hunter wandering around is pretty normal. You don't really think twice about that, so you can't really blame him for taking the bait like that, but wandering into literally the entirety of the Infamous side, Global Silence securing the numerical advantage, ensuring that there won't be any Spectre arriving into that fight, and man, did that Legion Commander die quickly. It, in fact, gave dual damage over to bo3 Jr. That's, I guess, DPS Battle Fury Bounty Hunter on the way, but it's still Forev with 0 dual damage 1. Maybe when he gets this Blade Mail, he'll be able to do something up against Benjaz, but that's still a risk. Like, Benjaz is going to kill him so quickly, and oh, it's up towards the top lane actually where Abed being stalked. He's tracked now, and he's kind of being cornered. It better be a TP. It is a TP, but not the right kind. It's Boots of Travel, and the Courier's actually going to get sniped on his way out. Abed gotta run, but no running from the Skewer. He's tracked up, and he's going to kill himself out of necessity. Bloodstone just bleeding out charges right now.
Infamous looking very legit here in this American qualifier. I mean, beat Wolves, but I quite think they were on DC's level. Bit of the maybe the jitters with the new roster here from DC, but definitely still, you know, not out of reach this game for them. The state that Forev is in, though, still looking to build into his Blade Mail. It does kind of feel like a single core versus single core match, and Mason can quite put in the work that Benjaz at this point. 7k net above Spectre.
Now has the Silver Edge completed, so Benjaz, Supreme Assassin, if he wanders into pretty much anyone, they're just straight dead. And speaking of straight dead, Forev, oh, quick fingers, blinks away from the axes. Some Ihan timing right there for Forev. There is still a couple of targets in the area. Bulba going to teleport in. That is not spotted by anyone from Infamous. They are still looking to use this Troll Warlord as the battering ram. And, well, we saw how fast he was able to take down Roche. I don't think this tower is going to fare much better.
Yeah, Empower, Bloodlust, pretty good with your Troll. He'll make quick work of that. They may just continue to take these low-hanging fruits, but for now, they'll put the Shine onto Benjaz. He'll pop the Battle Trance and try and force a reaction out of DC. He'll even go into melee range this tier 3, not long for this world. That'll open up Shrines. He'll even start throwing some damage into this range racks. He still has, or melee racks. He still has Aegis. Press the attack, forced out Dubu with a Shuriken almost dropping here. Benjaz still has not yet used his BKB, and absolutely for free, take a melee racks here in the mid lane without reaction. Shrines now vulnerable as well. They'll make a beeline down to the south, take out the east shrine here. Benjaz still yet to use the Aegis. He's still got almost a full 2 minutes on that.
I mean, we said multiple times, Troll Warlord with Empower and Bloodlust is ridiculous. I don't think we said it quite enough, though, because, I mean, those structures are not supposed to die like that. There is no minus armor here for Infamous. That is just pure right-click damage, pure and simple from the Troll Warlord. Abed, on a hunting mission for the Silencer, throws a Laguna Blade with that bulk. Not dead just yet, but will fall. Mason is going to haunt in. I don't think he has any other plans for that haunt, so it is going to be a haunt for a kill. A pretty nice one to have. 650 gold. Killing off the enemy Silencer is no small feat. But in this stage in the game, when they're looking down the barrel of 14, 15k deficit, Silencer being down is going to get them a tower because there's no global silence. But they are still looking like they want to make a play here. Bulba is not on a tree. Benyez looking to go in, and Sword is as well. Is going to find a couple of heroes. RP not in time. Gets dueled and shredded. Finally, Frev claims some duel damage. Infamous, they have to reconsolidate their heroes. I think they have to back up into their base and just let these objectives fall.
Yeah, still only a level 2 duel, so kind of inconsequential that he gets the 14 damage there, but they'll get the objective more importantly here in the top lane and get the big kill on the Silencer. Full Manta up for Mason. He's got 2k gold in addition to that. Got the Solar Crest behind him on Bulba. So no answer to that in this game just yet for Benjaz. I mean, he can disregard the Radiance chance a little bit, but no MKB in sight for him. He's going to Gotti and looking to just tank up for now. You know, trying to just become the raid boss. He's got so much behind him that, you know, he doesn't necessarily need to burst these heroes down as long as he stays alive. Kills them off one by one. Ultimate Orb in the inventory and not all that far off the full scale.
500 HP is quite a lot to burn through if you're DC. Laguna Blade is level 3 at this stage. And that will do quite a nice chunk onto Benyez, but you gotta remember there's still a mech on the Bounty Hunter. He even picked himself up a pipe. He got like 4 or 5 track kills in as many minutes, and now Harry Potter is gonna be spotted by Boca Jr. Gets tracked up. Monkey King does not want to be here. Shockwave coming in with the long range spam. He will get a little bit of help from the Legion Commander, but still will fall. Now looking for the Crystal Maiden. Rod of Ato's value right there, and will lock down another kill for the team. 2 track kills. There's just so much extra bulk here on this Troll Warlord. Just more than meets the eye thanks to this Bounty Hunter. So many buffs on this Troll Warlord in general now, like defensive and offensive. And man, DC couldn't do jack up against Benyez as a full 5-man team. I don't know what they're going to do now, missing 2 heroes, including that Wukong's command. Benyez is pissed at this tower. He's going to take it down. He's pissed at the racks. He's going to take that one down as well. Troll Warlord just be raging, man. They're going to jump in, try to duel. That's not going to happen! Oh my god, bad move for Ev. The RP is only going to land onto a couple of illusions. No, it's actually going to be stop canceled, and it will eventually land onto the Spectre. She's going to get a couple of mischances, but it's not nearly enough. Benyez still very healthy, as Dubu's going to show up. Will kill off the Ogre Magi, and they may kill off the Magnus as well. He's going to stop moving. He knows he's screwed. But you know what? The base of DC is looking really bad, and Benyez, with the Fresh Hive Scotty, is looking really good.
Yeah, just very difficult to kill off, and almost has some mercy there in the top lane. Felt like he could have continued forward, but respecting the possibility that this Lina and Spectre have buyback, and, you know, they got the melee racks, they have the full lane in mid. Not the greatest team at dealing with mega creeps, even with the Radiance and Lina. They're just going to have this constantly shoved in to their side of the map. So Infamous feeling good. Let's take our win with all the gold we get from the structures, get our next round of items, and then look high ground. So Benjaz continuing with the kind of tanky raid boss theme. He has enough damage with the Bloodlust and the Empower. He's just gonna go for the Satanic here. Try and finish this down.
Pretty nice item to have when you're going up against Blade Mail. It's one of the biggest threats that he's facing up against DC, although it didn't really seem like it, given that very suicidal play from Forev. Blink in for a pseudo stun onto Benyez. Did very, very little for him. Benyez now silver edging forward and is going to be met by the vast majority of the DC team with vision at the ready. Abed in front right now. This is Benyez. Got to play very cautiously. His backup is so far. No global silence just yet. Got to wait at least that 25 seconds for that to be up before they go for this tier 2.
I mean, that was a call that was made from DC. They were ready for it, but the BKB reaction from Benjaz was just patient, so Abed couldn't really. He jumped in with the blade mail. Haunt now comes out. No BKB immediately popped by Benchaz. They do get the skewer back onto the Spectre. They will RP her up and control her, but nothing else found by this Troll Warlord just yet. However, Mason completely isolated out to the south. You see no response in sight. Freezing Field's gonna get stopped by the global, and the Rod of Atos is there to hold TM in place as well. Abed, the last man standing. This woman in this case. Enough for the DC, and we'll be able to make it away with the Fiery Soul Stack and the Shadow Blade, but not like it's really all that concerned with that. Laguna Blade comes out mid lane from Abed, trying to kill off the Ogre. He smokes off the last few right clicks. YYF has survived. Fan pinged out from Gucci. South American fashion, and GG is called. Not sure how many of you bettors would have assumed that Infamous 2-0 DC here, but they take their recent success in here for them in DC, and DC going to drop down to the lower bracket. They're going to face the likes of CCNC, Yawar, Snaking, and the rest of IsGG, and the loser of that is out of the Summit 7 America qualifier, so no easy